Hi everyone, my name is Jamie McCoy and my teaching field is in mathematics.
My name is Christina and my teaching field is in mathematics.
My name is Justin Fornoff and my teaching field is English.
We are doing chapter 1 in Content Area Reading Book. Learners, literacies, and texts. All content area teachers play a critical role in helping students to think, learn, and communicate with texts. Content and process. Content refers to what to teach, process refers to how to teach it. Strong correlation between teachers' content knowledge, preparation, and higher student achievement. Balancing content and process in content area classrooms is the second main bullet point. Organized instruction around prior knowledge results in a better position to understand concepts and the subject matter that is taught. There are 3 main things to know about this bullet. First is knowing standards for your content area and grade level. Second, making instructional decisions based on authentic assessments throughout the school year about students' abilities to use reading and writing to learn. And third, integrating content literacy practices and strategies into instructional plans and units of study. So here's a little example. If we want to introduce a new subject or a new formula for math. So we have C equals 2 pi r is like an important formula. Now, in order for me to start teaching this, I want to review prior knowledge. I'll give them a picture of diameter and a picture of the radius. I'm going to let them know that D equals diameter and R equals radius, giving them the previous formulas that they learned before. Now, C equals 2 pi r. In order for them to understand this fully or easier, they'll have to know that 2r is D. So 2r can transform into D. So this formula makes it a little more easier. These are the same exact things, but if we knew this, the students can transform this into an easier format. Also, there's an R in here. Since students learn in different ways, they can transform R and take this in place of R, D over 2, cancel the 2's, and you still get C equals pi times D. It all means the same thing, and we know this because of our prior knowledge.
Continuing where Jamie left off, we're going to go over pressures on teachers. For standard-based instruction to be effective, it needs to be aligned with the curriculum. Because of this, states and school districts have developed content standards and ensured consistency within grade levels and schools, meaning that if you learn one thing in one 3rd grade class and you went to another 3rd grade class, it's going to be consistent, and same as if you transferred schools, you're going to have the same curriculum and the same goals. New literacies and new ways of learning. One reader may process text in a different order than another. The extensive use of computers and other media can lead to a false sense of competence, and teachers do need to be aware. They may seem like they understand it, but you do need to make sure that they truly have a good grasp on it before you start moving forward. Adolescent literacy. Students may feel helpless about their ability to engage in academic literacy tasks. It goes the same as if you were to throw a student a brand new math book that they had never seen or a science book that they had never seen and said, go ahead, read this, we're going to go over chapter 1 when we come back into class. It would be incredibly overwhelming. Disciplinary literacy and perspective. Content literacy and disciplinary literacy are extensions of the concept area reading where content determines process in a given discipline. The big idea behind disciplinary literacy is that literacy development in a discipline is directly related to content knowledge and thinking. Disciplinary literacy can be described as the ability to understand, critique, and use knowledge from text and other content areas.
All right, reading to learn. Teaching with textbooks or other types of written text involves more than assigning pages to be read, lecturing, or using questions to check whether students have read the material the night before.
Technically, what the book was going with this is that to use written text strategically and effectively, you have to
let the student understand what the knowledge he's supposed to be constructing upon what he's read. So typically what you do is you give them assignments and focus the lecture towards what they were supposed to take from the reading and help them take something from the reading so as that they don't just read the book or read the novel or whatever the assignment was and just completely forget everything that they read. Language and meaning cannot be severed from one another, and this is actually one of the biggest points that are made in reading as a meaning-making process in the section of the book. Language and meaning without each other, it's just nonsense. It's gibberish, because meaning and language, they go together really well, especially when you have students that are young and they're reading things that might be a little bit above their level, or they might be things that they're just learning how to read. So typically you'd have students that would be reading stuff that, they would be reading words that they didn't understand, but they would be using language to understand what they were reading. Students must learn to use reading to construct knowledge in the company of authors, other learners, and teachers. A lot of middle schools and high schools actually employ literary coaches to develop and support and extend content area teachers that their literacy strategies. So it's basically just the strategies that you'd be able to teach your students to further understand their reading. Reading as a strategic process, skilled readers must be able to decode, which is to pronounce words quickly and accurately. They must be able to read with fluency. They must be able to activate vocabulary knowledge in a relation to language of the text. So they have to be able to understand the vocabulary and in relation to what they're reading. So they have to understand what the words mean, what their place is in what they're reading. They have to be able to put into play text comprehension. So just be able to comprehend what they're reading generally. And basically the overarching theme of what I did, all these different sections that I was doing, was that for students to comprehend, they must develop strategies. They have to have their own strategies that allow them to use their prior knowledge and be able to infer meaning before and after they've read it. So before they've read it, they have an idea, and then after they read it, they've had an idea, and they use this to create a general concept of what they've read, and they can understand it, and they can relay it back to you. But this was generally what our chapter was about in chapter 1.